Hi friends, my name is Niman Bhatt and I welcome you to this video tutorial which is about JNS3, which is a graphical simulator. In the previous video tutorial, we talked about the extended ping commands and how we can use extended ping to modify various parameters. Now in this video tutorial, we are going to talk about the traceroute and how it can be used for troubleshooting. Traceroute is basically the command which is used traceroute is basically the command which is used to trace the route to trace the path with which we are sending the packets from one router to another, from source to destination. It tells us about the path which is followed by the packets when they are transported from one router to another router. So it tells us about the problems faced by the packet transformation. If the network is failing, it tells us about the various problems also, so we can troubleshoot the network as well. So today we are going to learn about trace routing and how it helps us to troubleshoot, because it will show us various characters if the network fails, and those characters will represent the problems of the network. So the step one of this video tutorial will be to design a network. I have designed a network over here where I have connected four routers, R1, R2, R3 and R4, with four switches and four hosts. First of all, we have to start with the IP addressing of the four routers so that we can trace the route with the help of the IP address. So we'll go into the console of R1. First we'll see the ports which we have to configure. That is, this is a fast Ethernet port 0/0. So we have to go into the router 1, console of router 1. For that we write the command config to move into the configuration mode. And now we'll do the IP addressing of the interface fast Ethernet port, which is 0/0 port. Now we are into the interface of fast Ethernet port 0/0. We have to do the IP addressing. We'll write the command IP address 192. Sorry, I'll choose class A IP address here. I'll go with 10.0.1.1. Why I'm going with class A IP address here is so that you can get along with class A IP address also. Now I'll do the subnet mask. This is class /24 subnet mask, which I have used for this fast Ethernet port 0/0. And after this, I'll just press enter. To keep this link on, I'll write the command no shutdown and press enter. I'll go back in the configuration mode. To save the configuration, I'll write the command do wr. Okay. So the interface fast Ethernet 0/0 is configured. The IP address is configured for it. Now, this is for the fast Ethernet port 0/0. Now we have to configure another port here, which is fast Ethernet port of R2 router. Now we'll go into the we'll go into the console of R2 router. Now we'll go into the configuration mode first, and then we'll enter the interface fast Ethernet 0/0. Press enter. Now I have to write the IP address, as I have kept the other fast Ethernet port which is connected to R1. Basically R1 and R2 is connected through two ports, fast Ethernet 0/0 of R1 and fast Ethernet port 0/0 of R2. So I have to keep it in the same network. I'll write the IP address 10.0.1.2. I have kept it as 10.0.1.1 for the fast Ethernet port 0/0 of router 1, and I'll keep it as .2 for fast Ethernet port 0/0 of router 2, so that they can be in the same network. And now I'll do the subnetting, press enter. Now I have to keep this link on, write the command no shutdown, go back into the configuration mode and save the configuration. We are done with the IP addressing of this port here. So these two ports, this port and this port, is configured in 10.0.1.0 network. Now we'll configure this port and this port. So I'll go into the router to console again, and I have to configure fast Ethernet 0/1 port. I'll go into the console of R2, and now I'll go into the interface, fast Ethernet 0/1, press enter. Now I have to assign an IP address for it. I'll keep it in network 2, 10.0.2. That will make it fall in network second. I have kept the other connection from R1 to R2 in network 1. I'll connect this, that is from R2 to R3 in network 2. I'll write the IP address 10.0.2.1. Now the subnet, press enter, keep the link on and go back to save the configuration. Okay, configuration is built. So this port here is configured in 10.0.2.1 network. Now I'll configure this port here, which is fast Ethernet port of R3, fast Ethernet 0/0. I'll go into the console of R3 and I'll go into the configuration mode of R3. Now I'll go into the interface, which is fast Ethernet 0/0 port, and I have to assign an IP address. As you remember, we have assigned 2.1 address for the other side of this network. I'll assign 2.2 for this side so that we connect it into the same network, which is 10.0.2.0. IP address 10.0.2.2, do the subnet /24 subnet this is, and then we have to keep this link on. For that we write the command no shutdown, we write exit and go back into the configuration mode and save the configuration. So this port is also configured. What have we done is we have put this network in 10.0.2.0 IP address, that is this network is in 10.0.2.0 network. Now we have to configure these two ports, this and this. This is fast Ethernet port 0/1 of R3 and fast Ethernet port 0/0 of R4. We'll keep this network in as third network, that is 10.0.3.0. So we'll go into the console of R3 and configure 0/1 port, and that is interface fast Ethernet 0/1 port, and press enter. And now I have to assign the IP address, which is 10.0.3.1. I'm keeping this in as network 3, and then I'll assign the subnet mask, and now I'll press enter, and now I'll keep the link on with the command no shutdown. Go back into the configuration mode, write exit. Now write do WR to save the configuration. The IP addressing for this port here is done. Now the last port I'll configure here is this port, which is the fast Ethernet 0/0 port of R4. I'll go into the console of R4. This is taking a moment to load. R4 configuration, sorry, R4 console. Yeah. So now we have to go into the interface. For that, we'll go into the configuration mode, interface, fast Ethernet 0/0. Sorry, I'll go, yeah, fast Ethernet 0/0. And now I'll assign an IP address to it, which is 10.0.3.2. Now assign the subnet mask .0. Keep the link on. Go back to the configuration mode and save the configuration. So we are done with the IP addressing of the 6 ports here, which include this, that makes it 4, and 2 more, this and this port. Now we're going to trace the route. So as I already told you, we use traceroute command basically to check the route, of different routers, and how and what is the path of the route. So if I'm tracing a route, for example, I'm tracing a route, this here is configured as 10.0.1.2. IP address of this is 10.0.1.2. So let's see if we trace route to this port. We'll go back into the console of R1 and we'll go back, we'll trace route of 10.0.1.2. Sorry, we have to write this command in the privilege mode. We'll go back first to privilege mode, and now we can track the this route. So we'll write it again, that is trace route 10.0.1.2. Okay, here it is. The route to the port 10.0.1.2 is shown here from R1. Okay, so R1 is showing us the route from R1 to the IP address 10.0.1.2. So we trace the route from this point to this point. Now if we use route to second to trace the route from this point to this point, or from this point to this point, we can do that too. I'll show you to trace the route from this point, which is the fast Ethernet port 0/1. Remember the IP address which we configured for it was 10.0.2.1, and this is 10.0.2.2. Let's trace route for 10.0.2.2. We have to go into the console of R2 and we'll go into the privilege mode first and we'll write trace route. We'll write the IP address of the port which we want to trace, the address which we want to trace, which is 10.0.2.2. okay, which I already showed you. Now I'll press enter. It is trying to trace the route. Here it is. The address is traced. It is a direct link to the 10.0.2.2 network. Now, and this is the direct link of tracing this route. Now if we want to trace this route, that is 10.0.2.2 from 10.0.1.1, okay, this link will probably fail because we are not done with the routing yet. Let's see if it's possible. We'll go into the router 1 console. Okay, now we'll trace route for 10.0.2.2. I'll show you again what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to trace the route from this point to this point, which is not possible because the routing is not done yet. And then I'll press enter. See, as you can see here, we can only see stars. These are the characters which point at something, as the route is not it is not able to show the route because it is not functional. We are not done routing. That is something we are going to learn after this in few more video tutorials. So these stars here represent that there is no connection is not made. The connection is not made with the port. That means it is not functional. So similarly, there are other characters which will be shown when you try to trace the route, which include H or I or many other characters which will be shown in this trace route, which I'm going to explain in a written way in the description. I'm going to explain those characters which you can see here and which will point at something, and that will be the problem which will be there in the network, and then you can address it easily. So this way, this trace route will help us to troubleshoot our problems, and then accordingly we can troubleshoot the problems because every character will show us something. So this was all from this video tutorial. I hope you can you will understand this all, and I'll try to explain it more in the description. Kindly read it out and try kindly understand the commands which I'm going to show you there. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you.